This country was built on a distinctly American work ethic. But today, work is in trouble. We've outsourced most of our manufacturing to other countries. And with that, we sent away good jobs and diminished our capability to make things. American Giant is a clothing company that's pushing back against this tide. They make a variety of high-quality clothing and activewear, like sweatshirts, jeans, dresses, jackets, and so much more. All made right here in the USA, from growing the cotton to adding the final touches. So when you buy American Giant, you create jobs for seamsters, cutters, and factory workers in towns and cities across the United States. And it's about more than an income. Jobs bring pride, purpose. They stitch people together. If all that sounds good to you, visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order when you use code STAPLE20 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with promo code STAPLE20.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday. I'm Scott Seidenberg here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we got about a little less than 5 minutes from tip-off of the game between the Cavaliers and the Pacers, and your updated market price right now, as we are about 4 minutes away from tip-off, is the Cavs now 5-point favorites, and your total here at Circa is at 231. So that's where you're at right now. 231 is your total here at Circa. Cavaliers are a 5-point favorite. And recapping our best bets from our guest, Mackenzie Rivers, NBA handicapper that joined us last segment, is he has Darius Garland over 21.5 points plus assists. You could also look at, Garland over his points is 15.5 if you just wanted to isolate the Garland points prop. If you wanted to do Garland assist prop, it's at 5.5. So if you wanted to isolate that, you could do the 5.5 there. And also Tyrese Halliburton to go under 17.5. So those are your legs there. If you wanted to same game parlay these things together, Cavs -5, the over on the game, 230.5 is the best number you can get on the over. And so if you do like a Halliburton under his points, you're kind of getting a jacked up payout. Anytime you do a same game parlay, I like to do the anti-correlations, the negative correlations, if you will. So you're always getting a better payout that way. If you do like a player to go, let's say, under his points, but the game to go over, you're going to get a better payout than if you do like a player to go over. And same thing, if you do a player to go over his points, but then under, you get, a better pay. You get a payout as well. It's kind of interesting the way you do it, because the computer is always going to factor in things that are correlated as your payouts. So if you do over in points and over for the game, it's not going to be as much of a payout as if you do it vice versa. All right, so that game's going to begin shortly. Again, here at Circa, -5, Cleveland, total of 231. Your lowest total in the market, though, is 230.5, and it is -5 across the board. So that's where we're going to be for this game, Cavs and Pacers. Game number 3 with the Pacers leading 2-1. Major League Baseball, wanted to update you on what's going on right now. Sunday night baseball between the Phillies and the Guardians. Our best bet that we gave out on the show is the Phillies -1.5. And the Phillies got the leadoff batter on to start the game in Bryson Stott. We talked about that, and then it led to a Trey Turner ground into a double play. The teams had no runs in the first inning, so congratulations if you hit your Nerfy. You played that Nerfy, you you cashed it. Kyle Schwarber leads off the top of the second inning with a home run. It's amazing. We literally just talked about Kyle Schwarber leading off and how we love him leading off games, leading off the innings. This season, Kyle Schwarber now has 4 home runs when leading off an inning. He is just a dangerous leadoff hitter. Whether he's leading off the game or just leading off any inning, he's got 4 home runs this year when leading off an inning. Out of his, 13 home runs that he has on the season? 4 leading off an inning. So he leads off the second inning with a solo home run. And also, with that solo home run by Kyle Schwarber, he has now reached base safely in 40 straight games to start this season for the Phillies. The streak is actually 46 straight games if you go back to the end of last season. Kyle Schwarber has reached base safely in 46 straight games for the Philadelphia Phillies. It was the final 6 of last year and the first 40 games of this year. The record, the major league record for most consecutive games reaching base safely to start a season, 47, set by Alvin Davis of the Seattle Mariners in 1984. So Kyle Schwarber now 7 games away from tying that record, 8 from breaking the record of reaching base safely, which I think is interesting because maybe this is like the bet that we have to start making in these games. I know you can bet total bases, and you could say, all right, we're going to go over 1.5 total bases, whatever it is. Yes, you can bet, will a batter get a hit? You can also bet, will a batter walk? I would like to start betting, and I'm wondering like how this works. Can you just bet to get on base safely? To reach base safely, because that would also include reaching on an error. So just getting on base in any way, like what's the odds on that? And with live betting now, we can do this on an at-bat per at-bat basis. So I'm looking right now, because I think Caesars does live at-bats. And if we just look at this game, the next at-bat, you can bet, let's see, Alec Boehm, second plate appearance. So they're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning there. And I guess who made the last out for the Phillies? Kepler struck out. So Kepler striking out to end the inning, which means it's going to be Real Muto leading off, then Boehm, then Rojas, 7, 8, 9. So you can bet here, Alec Boehm, next plate appearance. Single is plus 380. Walk or hit by pitch is 10-1. Reach on error is 30-1, but then all these odds are individual things. So it's double, home run, triple. All right, so you can't just bet hit or walk. See, I would love to see, and maybe check your sports book. I'm wondering if DK does this. I would love to bet like walk / hit by pitch. Let's say that's 10-1. Let's say you get reach on error as 30-1. And then if you get like a hit at 5-1, for a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who has reached base safely in 40 straight games, you maybe go like an at-bat per at-bat bet. You do it the first at-bat. If he doesn't reach base safely, you do it the next at-bat, and you do it and so on and so forth. And if all of those bets are plus money, like if the walk / hit by pitch is 10-1, if the reach on error is 30-1, and if getting a hit, maybe it's less than 5-1, whatever it is, but if it's plus money, you can like use like an online calculator, like manipulate your bet sizing accordingly so that if he reaches base safely, you're making the profit, and determine how much profit you're going to get. And you just do this on an at-bat per at-bat basis. It's crazy, right? Let's look at DraftKings. Let's see. All right. Plate appearance for Alec Boehm, they have the exact result. So it's the same thing. You have to bet the exact result. Single, double, home run. So you can't just bet hit or not. I'm wondering let's see, you can bet the pitch by pitch, but that's different. Live batter props, home runs, hits, Total bases. No. There's got to be a way to bet this. I'm sure smarter people than I can figure this out, because I don't want to have to bet every single outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to bet single, walk, hit by pitch, double, home run, reach on error, and triple. Because that's 6 bets we're talking about, with the cheapest odds being plus 500 for the single. So I guess if you're doing all those and you do, let's say $10, we'll do multiples of 10 here. But if you do $10 on every one, if he gets a single, you're breaking even, right? Because your payout's going to be $50. You get your $10 back. You risk the total of 60. So the single is like the worst outcome for you. And then any other outcome, you're making more profit. So I guess maybe you could do that. Maybe you could just bet every single outcome. But this is something to keep an eye on. Listen, it doesn't apply this game because he already reached base safely. Congratulations. A solo home run in the top, I should say, of the second inning. Kyle Schwarber now 40 straight games reaching base safely. Phillies with a 1-0 lead over the Guardians. Bottom of the 4th inning there in Cleveland. Zach Wheeler dealing so far for the Phillies. He has allowed 2 hits, 4 strikeouts in 3 1/3. For Luis Ortiz, 4 innings, 3 hits, the 1 run on the Schwarber homer. 6 strikeouts, though, for Luis Ortiz. And I will say this, a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of ballpark factor bad luck, because JT Realmuto doubled in that second inning after the Schwarber home run. And looking at the StatCast data, the JT Realmuto double off of the wall in center field would have been a home run in 21 of the 30 major league ballparks. So, including, I believe, Philadelphia. Yes, 100%. The only ballparks it wasn't a home run in: Chase Field, Progressive Field, where the game is tonight, Coors Field, believe it or not, Detroit, Houston, Kansas City, Citi Field and Yankee Stadium, and Globe Life Field in Texas. It was 414 feet, and it still wasn't a home run. Wow. Kyle Schwarber was 392 feet on his home run. So Realmuto hits it further, and he doesn't get the homer. That's just, as John Sterling would say on the Yankees broadcasts, that's baseball season. That's baseball. We're going to continue to talk baseball in about 15 minutes or so from now. Greg Peterson will join us on the program, get his take on tomorrow's slate of games here in Major League Baseball. But this summer, you can go all in here at Circa Las Vegas with the ultimate getaway package. Just $400 all in. You're going to get a 2-night stay at Circa, a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and your very own daybed at Stadium Swim. It's the best place to watch the games. All for just $400, resort fees and taxes included. This limited time offer valid for stays between May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your all-in summer package now at circalasvegas.com. We roll on here, Live Bet Sunday with me, Scott Seidenberg, on VSiN. Scott Seidenberg back here with you, Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Shout out to the Twitter community and the listeners here of Live Bet Sunday, hitting me up at Scott's On Air, SCOTTSONAIR. Mike Zills tweeting at me on his app, on the DraftKings app. There is a plate appearance on base tab where you can bet, will Bryson Stott reach base? Reach base. The yes is plus 170, the no minus 225, and you could do this for a variety of batters. Will Gabriel Arias reach base? Yes, plus 260. Will Johan Rojas? Yes, plus 210. Will Nolan Jones? Yes, plus 230. And shout out, let's see, Jim, great stuff there, tweeting at me as well, betting on the DK on the app. As I'm looking at the app right now, and this is where I think maybe it could depend on by state, or if you're looking on the app versus the desktop, because on my computer, I'm looking at the desktop version. Now, full disclosure, obviously we're here in Las Vegas. I'm at the Circa Sportsbook. I can't bet DraftKings here in Las Vegas. But my phone app is set to Arizona because that's where I go to place my DraftKings bets. And So I can see the lines here, and I do have that plate appearance on base. But the desktop version, which I believe is set to New Jersey, I do not have that option. So if you want to bet something like that on a Kyle Schwarber to reach base safely, and again, he already did it this game, but moving forward for the next game, you can do this on every plate appearance. If you're getting plus money on each plate appearance, well, manipulate your bet sizing accordingly so that you can get a profit here when he does reach base safely. But I like that, and that would be available on your mobile app. So shout out the Twitter crew, the Twitter followers hitting me up at Scott's On Air, letting me know that on their apps they are able to bet that. So great stuff there. Awesome stuff there, guys. Thanks for tweeting that in, because I'm gonna take a look at that. I'll be in Jersey next weekend, so I'm gonna take a look at the on my app, try to play some of these live batter props. I know Caesars here in Vegas does the live batter props as well, but as I checked on my phone before, they only do the exact results. So I can't do the reach base safely. I can only do the exact results on the Caesars app here in Vegas. But hey, that's something that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. We are still 1-0. Phillies leading the Guardians right now. Top of the fifth inning. There's one out and a runner on first, as I believe that was Alec Bohm reaching base safely. Man, we could have gotten that bet down. Infield single for Alec Bohm. So you got Rojas now batting for the Phillies, and he'll turn the lineup over. Bryson Stott on deck, and then Turner, Harper, and Schwarber, see if they can add some runs here. Wheeler doing his job. 2 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Luis Ortiz actually pitching really well. 7 strikeouts for Luis Ortiz as he just struck out Rojas. 7 Ks for Ortiz. And we look at his game logs. He had 4 strikeouts against the Nationals, 5 against the Twins. He did strike out 8 against the Yankees, 8 against the Pirates, 10 against the Royals, but only 3 against the Angels and 2 against the Padres. So this is a guy that has, coming into tonight, 40 strikeouts on the season in, 7 starts? So I would venture he's already gone way over his strikeout prop in this game with 7 Ks in the first 5 innings. So a good performance here from a guy that I certainly thought was a fade candidate based on his advanced numbers. And if you look at the numbers of, his ERA, his expected ERA, his fielding independent pitching, this was a guy that I certainly was looking to fade. But a great outing so far. 5 innings for Luis Ortiz, only the 1 run allowed on the Kyle Schwarber home run. Let's take a look at what's going on the ice and in the NBA. Well, on the ice, the Florida Panthers have a 1-0 lead, and it looks like that will be the lead as the first period comes to a close. So the Maple Leafs do not get the first period goal unless they score one here in the final 15 seconds. But teams coming off a playoff loss have now scored the first goal in the following game in, I believe, I actually did an update to see, Dallas did score. So with Dallas scoring, I believe it's now, we have to update the numbers. It should be 31 out of 47 with, let's see, Dallas scored the first goal in the game. I believe they did. Rupe Hintz. So, and then Toronto did not. So it should be, 30 out of 47. Or 31 out of 48 should be the numbers. I'm sorry. 31 out of 48 should be the numbers. And first period goal should be 33 with the Dallas goal in the first period, but no goal in the first period for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But still riding. I think we still get to an over in this game. Your total right now is at 5.5. Let's look inside the numbers, something I love to do when it comes to these periods. I want to see exactly how the games have played out and what can we expect moving forward for the remainder of this game. So here is your advanced analytical report on the first period of this game. And these numbers, let's see. Through 20 minutes, wow, we have a dominant effort by the Florida Panthers. Panthers have had 29 shot attempts. Now, that's just attempts. That's not on goal. That's not shots that are blocked. But 29 shot attempts to just 9 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of those shot attempts, 22 have gotten through compared to just 7 for the Maple Leafs. But that's a good percentage for the Maple Leafs. Out of 9 shots, 7 of them have gotten through. Shots on the net, though, 15 for the Panthers on goal, 4 for the Maple Leafs. So, yeah, they're taking a bunch of shots, but Toronto's doing a good job of clogging the lanes, getting sticks in the way, blocking shots. 15 shots on goal, though, for the Florida Panthers, and just 4 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Carter Verhaeghe scoring the first goal of the game on a power play, and that is the difference in the game right now, as it is a 1-0 Panthers lead, thanks to that goal on the power play. As I mentioned, 15-4, your shots on goal. Your high danger scoring chances, 4 for the Panthers, 1 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have an expected goal number of 1.27 for Florida, just 0.29 for Toronto. So the 1-0 score, pretty indicative of how the first period played out. No real surprises. Had I seen some numbers that would indicate, more goals should have been scored, then I'd, certainly be more inclined to place a live bet. But I will say this. This is a high-scoring series. These are 2 high-scoring teams. The first period, feeling out process maybe, low scoring, 1-0. I think we're going to get some action here in the second period. Your second period over 1.5 is minus 165. That is a bet that I would make. I would bet the second period over 1.5 at minus 165. But please shop around, because different books will offer you different prices. You could get a better line than the minus 165 on the over 1.5 in the second period. So that was at DK. I'm going to look at FanDuel right now, because the majority of you guys have these online books available to you. Second period total goals, it's even juiced even higher up on FanDuel. So actually your better line is on DraftKings. But here's something that I like. Both teams to score in the second period is plus 125 on FanDuel. I'm going to check to see what it is locally here in Vegas, because I know that sometimes we get upwards of plus 140 on this prop, and even higher. I've gotten plus 150 throughout these Stanley Cup playoffs. Both teams to score, nope, plus 110 here in Vegas. So your best line is that plus 125 available on FanDuel. You can get both teams to score in the second period, plus 125. That is a live bet that I would make for this second period. Yes, I do like the second period to go over, so you can lay the minus 165 or so if you want to lay the juice on the second period to go over. If you think that maybe only one team is going to score 2 goals in the second period, I think both teams score goals in this second period. So it's kind of like a way of getting at the same bet, because, obviously if both teams score, then it's going to be an over 1.5 in the first period. But I'm going to take that plus money opportunity and think that Toronto gets on the board, Florida scores as well. I like over 1.5 goals in the second period, and I like the plus money grab here on both teams to score in this second period. So I would take a look at that, available for you right now. Smarter bets start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro. And for a limited time, we are slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. And when you sign up today, we'll throw in 2 extra months for free. That's 14 months of VSiN Pro access for less than 50 cents a day when you use promo code PRO. Get 14 months of access to our daily best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 live video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus all of our special edition betting guides. Head to vsin.com/subscribe now. Use promo code PRO to lock in 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Our very own Greg Peterson joins us next to talk some baseball with me on Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday, I'm Scott Seidenberg here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We are into the first intermission in Florida. The Panthers, a 1-0 lead over the Maple Leafs. Your live total is 5.5 plus 124 to the over. So it's the same total that it was prior to the game starting, but now you're getting plus money on the over. Panthers on the live line, minus 410. Leafs, plus 290 if you believe in their ability to come back. We're just hoping we get some goals because our best bet on this game was the Leafs over 2.5 goals. And I do recommend the over 1.5 goals here in the second period coming up, as well as a plus money price on both teams to score here in this second period. In the NBA, it's been all Cavaliers here in the first quarter, 22-10. Pacers over the Cavaliers. 22-10, the Pacers leading the Cavs with 4:32 to go in the first quarter. The refs are reviewing something now. There might be some technicals, as there was, I believe, Mathurin got into it with somebody, so there was some shoving. But your live line right now, Pacers minus 3.5, total of 228.5. And Sunday Night Baseball, we are monitoring our Phillies bet. Phillies with a 1-0 lead over the Guardians, top of the sixth inning in Cleveland. Joining us now to talk more Major League Baseball on the Progressive Guest Line is our very own Greg Peterson. You watch him across a variety of shows here on VSiN, and you catch the Baseball Betting Podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Greg, taking a look at this game specifically, I know you and I both are on the Phillies minus a 1.5. Live total of 4.5 right now, top of the sixth inning. Luis Ortiz has been great for Cleveland. I don't think you and I expected that. Would you be intrigued by a live over in this game?
I would be, and we mentioned this a little bit off air. Zach Wheeler has shoved thus far, 5 scoreless innings, but he's allowed approximately 1 home run in every single start this year, so that means he should be getting something from the Cleveland Guardians. And for the Guardians, last year I would not take this live over, because last year that bullpen was so dominant. They were able to do a nice job of locking things down. It's been a very ordinary bullpen thus far this season, so that's something that gives me a little bit of pause with the Cleveland Guardians, and that's a big reason why I did take a shot on the Phillies on the run line. So if I were looking right now, I would take a shot on that over.
And right now, you can get the Phillies run line minus 1.5. It just it was even money. I guess somebody might have walked just now, but it is now minus 110. They already have a 1-0 lead. So you've already gotten one run out of the way here, and as you mentioned, Wheeler's doing a great job of shutting down.
And now you have 2 men on, it looks like, too.
Yeah, I guess that's why the odds just changed from even money to minus 110. As was that Schwarber just walked, I believe?
Yes.
So Kyle Schwarber, well, he homered already in the top of the second inning, but Kyle Schwarber has now reached base safely, Greg, in the first 40 games here for the Phillies and 46 games going back to the final 6 games of last season. I was just talking about this in a segment ago. I would just keep placing the live at-bat props on my app on Kyle Schwarber to reach base safely. And if he doesn't do it in the first at-bat, I'd bet it again in the second at-bat. I don't think this streak is ending anytime soon. He seems locked in at the plate right now.
Oh, he has been absolutely tremendous, and it's a far cry from what we saw 2 seasons ago when he was all or nothing. He was always able to do a nice job of being able to hit those bombs, but he wasn't really giving you a lot in terms of moving line, what have you. This year, he's been drawing more walks. He's been able to hit more of those singles and doubles. Oh, and by the way, he's got 13 home runs this far this season. Not too shabby.
Yeah, and he did not walk. I guess they called it a strike, and he had a stare down with the umpire. So it's a 3-2 count right now with Schwarber up. Let's see if he can do some damage for us with a runner on base. And it looks like he slices it fair or foul. I can't see on TV. Or that ball might be caught. I think it was caught in the corner. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the ball down the line here, so we'll wait to see the TV replay. But Schwarber just did something down the left field line with a runner, Bryce Harper, on base in front of him. 1-0 Phillies, top of the sixth inning there in Cleveland. All right, Greg, let's take a look at some news around Major League Baseball. The Rockies, after losing, 21-0 yesterday to the Padres, getting absolutely embarrassed. I was hoping that they were going to go for 2 if they did score that first touchdown, but they never scored. And today, they beat the Padres 9-3, but after the game, manager Bud Black was relieved of his duties. What do you make of the Rockies' decision to fire Bud Black after the win today, and how do you see this affecting the team moving forward?
I mean, it had to be some sort of a, shall we say, thing in terms of logistics as to why he got fired today and not yesterday, because it would make no sense if you lose by 21 runs. Hey, you get to keep your job. You lost today, bad job, or you won today, bad job. You now get fired. So I think that has to do with logistics, it being a day game. But I mean, I don't think they should have returned this year. Like, this is a move that the Colorado Rockies, I felt like they needed to make. They've got a lot of, honestly, relatively solid guys in the farm system. They've drafted relatively okay. Now it's the Colorado Rockies. They're going to find a way to screw it up somehow, some way, because that's all the Colorado Rockies do. But I mean, this is a completely understandable move when your team is 7-33. Someone needs to be held accountable. Bud Black, who hasn't done a lot for the Colorado Rockies this last few seasons, he was held accountable. This is a move that I don't blame them for making. But even though we see it a lot of times in sports where you get like that interim coach, interim manager bump, I just don't see that happening for the Rockies because they don't have the talent to be able to take advantage of that bump.
It did happen for the Pirates, though. They won their first game after firing Derek Shelton, but then they lost their next game. For the Rockies, they will begin a series, not tomorrow, but coming up on Tuesday in Texas against the Rangers. Or actually,
they play tomorrow, actually.
Yes, it does begin tomorrow. You're right. Chase Dollander on the mound for the Rockies and Tyler Mahle going for Texas.
Give me the Rangers run line, by the way.
I was just going to say that. I know we don't like betting a run line with a home team because we're not guaranteed the ninth inning at bat, but would you still take the run line here for the Rangers in these games?
Well, absolutely, and this one is going to be in my VSiN write-up as well. I recognize it's like minus 135, minus 140 on the run line, but we were mentioning this off air yesterday. Out of the 33 losses for the Colorado Rockies, 30 have been by multiple runs. And if you look at the last 32 losses, all but 2 have been by multiple runs. So it's not just that this team is losing, they're losing in grand fashion. And Dollander, he has not been great, to say the least, this year. He's got an ERA that's approaching 7. He's giving up 2.6 home runs and 4.2 walks per 9 innings. And I'm a believer that the Rangers offense is going to find it a little bit more. You've had Corey Seager be able to come back after he was on the injured list. You've had Wyatt Langford be able to give you a little bit of production. I just don't believe that this is going to continue to be a bottom 5 team in the big leagues in terms of runs per game. And who better to be able to get going against than the Colorado Rockies? And even if the Rangers offense is stuck in neutral, here's what the Rockies are doing on the road this year. They're averaging 2.2 runs per game away from home. That's not bad. That's pathetically bad.
It is. It absolutely is. I'm going to be with you there, especially with the way that Mahle has looked to start this season for the Rangers. And maybe unders, because we know that Texas, the best under team at home here in baseball. So maybe the Rockies don't score anything. The Rangers don't score either. They win the game 2-0 or 4-0. We'll be happy with that line there. Tomorrow is also Paul Skeens Day for the Pirates. They're in New York to take on the Mets and David Peterson. Mets are minus 145, and this is kind of a trend that we have seen lately just because of how inept the Pirates have been, and they've lost back-to-back starts now that Skeens has gone out there and pitched, but you're getting a good plus money price here on Paul Skeens. I feel like there's value in the first 5 innings, especially getting plus a half a run in the first 5 innings with a guy like Paul Skeens. Even though it's the Mets lineup, would that be a bet that you would be looking at here in this game?
If I'm going full game, I'm going to need to go with the New York Mets because I'm right now seeing a plus 170 on laying a run half with them. That's actually something I'm going to be looking at. I personally have not played the first 5, but if I were looking at the first 5 and the first 5 only, I'd be looking where you're looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates, because I think a lot of people made something out of Paul Skeens giving up those 3 solo runs against the Cubs 2 starts ago, but let's call it what it is. The Pirates have a lot of issues, and Paul Skeens is not one of them. Paul Skeens still giving you about 8.5 to 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, still supplying a sub-3 ERA. He's been rock solid this year. Expectations were very high after last season, and maybe he's fallen a little bit short of them, but he's still been very good. And for David Peterson, for one, great name, and 2, he's been rock solid for the New York Mets as well. I could very easily see this being a low-scoring first 5 innings, and then from there, you get in that Pirates bullpen where David Benar has not been great. You've had Colin Olderman not be able to get the job done. That's where I think you see a little bit of explosion of runs. So if I were looking at the first 5, I'd be looking at you with the Pirates, but I'm looking more at the full game on the New York Mets because I think the schlubs around Paul Skeens don't do their job.
All right, and finally, we got about a minute left, Greg. Yankees with a big win there, avenging an ugly loss from the other day in Sacramento. Now they take on a Mariners team in Seattle that got swept by the Toronto Blue Jays. What went wrong for Seattle here, and what do you think their chances are against the Yankees tomorrow night?
Little bit of shaky pitching in that series against Blue Jays, but if you're able to get north of plus 110, I was seeing a plus 117 at circa on the opener. We'll be looking at Emerson Hancock. He had a really bad first start of the season, gave up 6 runs in less than an inning against the Tigers. Since then, he's went 6+ innings in each of his last 3 starts, 2 or 3 runs allowed in every one of them. I think he holds down the fort. Looking at the under and Seattle.
Greg, great stuff as always. Good luck with your bets tomorrow, and let's get some runs out of the Phillies here.
Yes, sir, Scott. Always appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
There he is, our very own Greg Peterson. Check him out all across the network here on VSiN and the Baseball Betting Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. Still 1-0 Phillies over the Guardians. We need more runs here, but the excitement continues in the playoffs, both Stanley Cup and NBA. We'll update you on that coming up next year. Live Bet Sunday on VSiN.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday, I'm Scott Seidenberg on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Always on Twitter at Scott's On Air, SCOTTSONAIR. As we are at the end of the first quarter in Indy, and it's all Pacers on top of the Cavaliers, 38-23. An incredible first quarter effort by the Pacers as they have shot 6 of 10 from three-point range. The Cavs 3 of 8 from three-point range. The Cavs 12 of 14 from the free throw line. Pacers 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Pacers out rebounding the Cavs 12-7. 14 points in the paint for the Pacers to just 2 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 7 turnovers for the Cavs have led to 9 points off of those turnovers for the Pacers. But 38-23 is where we're at here after the first quarter. And would it surprise anybody if the Cavs came back and won the game? I mean, based off what we've seen so far in these NBA playoffs, absolutely not. No comebacks are surprising anymore. Live line right now is Pacers -6.5, and your live total of 233.5. Is there value on the Cavs plus 6.5? Maybe. I will say this. I did take a look at some history and some trends here because a system that we talked about earlier in these playoffs, which was incredibly profitable for us, and it has been something that it's dominated over the years, is when the home favorite loses game number 1 of the series, how do they bounce back in game number 2 of the series? And in every instance, the first quarter is a dominant first quarter. An absolutely dominant first quarter, to the point where the opposing teams were averaging only 16 points per first quarter. And we played all of the first quarters. And if you go back and you look at what the points have been for these teams in the NBA playoffs in these quarters, when the home teams lose, even in this Pacers-Cavs series, in game number 2, where the Pacers still won the game 120-119, they only scored 15 points in the first quarter. The Cavs outscored the Pacers in that game 32-15 in the first quarter. And I know that this doesn't apply to this game because the Pacers weren't a home favorite in game 3, but the Pacers lost game 3 at home, and so in the next game at home, they have surged here to dominate the Cavs in the first quarter, 38-23. But would it surprise you if the exact same thing happens in this game like we saw in game number 2, the second home game for the Cavs, where avenging a loss, they came out and dominated the first quarter, and then the road team in the Pacers came all the way back. In the second quarter of that game, The Pacers outscored the Cavs 35-29. Would it surprise me if the Cavs outscored the Pacers by a significant margin here in the second quarter? Absolutely not. So I think maybe there is value on the Cavs right now. Minus 5 points prior to the game beginning. Bad first quarter. Now you get them at +6, +6.5. And based off the runs that we've seen throughout these NBA playoffs of these teams coming back and having big surges late in the games, or just throughout the remainder of the game after a bad first quarter, I would not be surprised if this winds up being a comeback effort from the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I did look at the history. And much like we talked about those home favorites that lose in game number 1 and in game number 2, those home favorites, they bounce back and they dominate the first quarter of those games. Well, if you look at the game number 4 scenario, where the home team loses game number 3, how do they do in the next game in game number 4? Well, they win the first quarter by about a point or so. Then the second quarter is even, and they lose the third quarter, and they lose the fourth quarter. These teams are actually losing the second halves of these games. And on average, they're being outscored in the entirety of their games. 11-15 since the start of the 2021 season for these home teams in game number 4 if they lost game number 3 at home. 11-15. And if they were a dog in game number 3 and they're an underdog once again in game number 4, 5-10 straight up. 8-7 against the spread, though. So that's pretty noticeable. But we look at the first quarters, and the first quarter seems to be their best effort. And that's kind of what you expect. Home team coming off the loss, having a big effort here in the first quarter, and that's what we've seen here from the Pacers. But it would not surprise me if we got a big comeback here from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we're going to continue to monitor this as this game progresses. Taking a look at the live line right now as the Pacers extending their lead, 46-23. Pacers minus 11.5 on the live line, total of 232.5 as they continue. Let's see, is the three-point numbers getting even better? Wow, an 8-0 run to start the second quarter for the Pacers. Now 8 of 13 from three-point range. It is a 10-0 run to start the third quarter. My goodness. Well, I wouldn't have bet. Now I won't bet the Cavs at +6 because I'll just take them now at +12.5. Yeah, big surge here from the Pacers. We'll see how the rest of this game does play out. For our Darius Garland best bet, not looking great right now, but that's the beauty of having a 4-quarter basketball game is you got to play the whole game. But Garland has no points and only 1 assist. He has only taken 1 shot from the field. And the worry is that if this continues to be a blowout, does Garland even play the full complement of minutes? I think absolutely he does, because they're not going to concede this game, the Cavs, and go down 3-1. Like, if they lose this game, they are in serious jeopardy of losing the series. Like, serious jeopardy of losing the series. So you're not. This is not over by any stretch. And based on what we've seen, I think there are live betting opportunities just based on what we've seen here in these playoffs. Now, am I going to say take a +360 money line on the Cavs? Maybe not, but +12.5 on the live spread. Looking at some live player props. I mean, Donovan Mitchell point total right now live 26.5. I'd go over that. Garland live total now, 10.5. I'd go over that. They're still going to be scoring in this game. They still have a lot of basketball to be played. There's still 9 minutes left, 9.5 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. Meanwhile, we're almost halfway through the second period in Sunrise, Florida, and nobody has scored here in this second period. The lead remains 1-0 for the Florida Panthers, and right now I saw that the Leafs did have a power play, but they did not convert on the power play. The Panthers have had 4 power plays in this game, and they have converted on one of them. That was the Carter Verhaeghe goal. So it is a 1-0 lead still for the Florida Panthers, and they are dominating the game. 21 shots on goal for the Florida Panthers to just 6 for the Toronto Maple Leafs here through the first half of this game, as we have now reached about 11 minutes to go here in the second period, so almost at the exact halfway point of this game. Your live total right now is at 4.5, minus 120 to the over, and I mean, I kind of still like that. Kind of still like the live over, if we're being honest. Might take a shot here on a live over. The scoring will break through. I think we're going to get some goals. Scoring will break through eventually here. In checking out Sunday Night Baseball, what's going on right now between the Phillies and the Guardians. Phillies just got a runner on first here. The Guardians are into the bullpen. Luis Ortiz, what a tremendous start. 6 innings of 1-run ball just on that Kyle Schwarber home run. 9 strikeouts, 4 hits allowed. Zach Wheeler, meanwhile, 6 shutout innings, only 3 hits allowed, 8 strikeouts as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, with the Phillies holding on to a 1-0 lead. A reminder, you can take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime by becoming a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Stay connected to the action wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, available on your phone, tablet, and smart TV. And with the VSiN Watch app, you get 24/7 live access to our audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows so you never miss a moment, big screen streaming straight to your smart TV, quick access to clips by sport tailored to your interest. Watch VSiN anywhere, anytime. Download the VSiN Watch app today. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.